Hey, what up, guys? It's the African Mechanic here, and today I'm going to talk about steering rack, specifically power steering rack. And what you see in front of me right now is the power steering rack for VW Tiguan. I think the same can be found in Passat as well, and the Golf as well, 2.5 Golf as well. Yeah, so let's talk about power steering. So first of all, I want to talk about this thing right here. It's called the moment sensor. That's what VW calls it. But I learned other models calls it like they call it the torque sensor. So what it does is it sense anytime you turn the steer, it sends power to the motor and then makes the motor start working as well. So anytime you move your steering to right, this what sends that and then transmits that power to the motor, and then the motor starts working. So it's called the steering moment sensor or the steering torque sensor. It has 6 wires that goes from it and then goes into the steering aid control unit.
So this right there is the motor that controls the rack itself, and behind it is the steering aid control unit. I think that's what aids the motor to control the steering rack. Yes, and then in front of it in front you have 2 big wires, that's red and brown. The brown is earth, that's on the body, and the red is power, that's from the SA2, that's the second fuse. I think it's 80 amps. Yes, so and these 3 connectors, the first wire is from the fuse number 14, that's at the driver foot wells. The second one is from the steering column, and the third one is from the diagnosis interface. Yeah, I think that's all for the wiring. So let me say this: anytime you see a fault code on a VW, that's 00573, don't just hesitate. This is the sensor. So you just have to completely change the steering rack. That will fix it, because those wires don't pass through any fuses, neither do they pass through any relays. So anytime you see a fault code that's 00753, it's just the steering moment sensor, and it needs a new rack. Just train it out there. Thanks. So now let's take a look at what's inside the steering moment sensor. Most other brands call it steering torque sensor. So let's take a look at what's inside. So it has 2 bolts. That's 230 torx bolts. You need to unscrew that as well. There are 2 of them. So after you are done, you just shake it a little bit. It will just pop right up. So this is it. It's basically a sensor that's receive feedback from how you turn the steering wheel and sends that feedback to the motor through that 6 wires. It sends signal to the motor and makes the motor work efficiently. So that's what the sensor is for. It's there to know how fast you are turning and how slow you are turning, and then sends the feedback to the motor as well. So that's all there is. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you guys on the next one. Peace.